earlier in my career, I do have some female colleagues that are actually harassed by trying to get the male prospect to kind of meet them. They will just say, you know what, I want to come to my house instead. My female colleague say, no, let's meet at the void deck downstairs. But he insisted that you want to close the case, you come up with me upstairs.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Are You For Real? My name is Ian.
I'm Shireen.
And Shireen, okay, so I have a very interesting question. We've been doing this for quite a while.
Yes.
Was this what you were supposed to do? What was your first job?
Actually, this wasn't like something that I kind of like imagined I would do after I graduated from uni, because I studied like life science. Then now I'm here in media, so like, you know, like that's where life took me, I guess. But then how about you?
So I studied mass comm, and then what happened was like, I'm going to be a radio DJ. Then in uni, they had like hall activities. So the first job offer I was actually approached by was a FA agency actually sponsored all the hall activities. So it's like, hey Ian, you want to be an FA or not?
Oh,
so
really?
I went to took the test, no. Then I was just like, oh, wow, like interesting, eh? But wow, a lot of studying. So when I wanted to go in, I was speaking to friends and family, right? There was a lot of like noise and negative feedback. Although the people who are telling me about it will be like, oh, it's good. Then the people who don't know, right, will be like, I don't know whether it's a good idea or not for you to do that. And I think this is why we often like to discuss it, to like clarify and demystify all these kind of things. But the two of us, right, we're just hosts. We don't know why. That's why we have a subject matter expert here with us in the studio, Danny.
Hi everybody, I'm Danny. I'm a Senior Director from Synergy Financial Advisors. I've been in the industry since 2001, though I don't think I look that old. But I'm here to try to demystify whatever the host wants me to answer today. So here I am.
Today we're going to talk about financial advisors, and of course, Danny being in the industry for so long, he has a wealth of insight that today we're going to mine. I'm going to harvest everything out. So before we begin, Danny, you having been a FA for so long, we start with the very first question of why. Like, why of all the jobs? Okay, for me, obviously, it's because they approached me, so I'm like, I can't consider. Was this a chance upon your lap situation, or was it like, I want to be an FA?
Well, I love to say that when I grow up, I have a vision that I want to be a FA one day. I don't think anybody has that. But I think I've been exposed to investments since 16 years old. So my dad was a stockbroker. So I started investing under his account since 16 years old. So I thought, hey, actually, it's easy to make money by just looking at teletext and see the price go up. And of course, yes, that shows my age, teletext. But that was like my pastime after school. Look at teletext. And I made a bit of money, of course, with my dad's strong recommendations. So I gave up science in JC, decided to go to commerce stream in JC, studied financial analysis in uni, and I said, you know what, I'm waiting in finance industry. But of course, what do I want to do? So, I just chanced upon an FA job right after that. Of course, during those days, the FA industry is not as established as today. So, we had to do a bit more insurance stuff and this. But of course, when a chance for me to be fully independent or to do a lot more independent financial advisory comes, I thought that's the best way to do what I always wanted to do. So I would say I've been doing this since I was 16 years old.
But like this chance that you were able to, like become FA, was it like after graduation, or was it like during uni? Then like what Ian said, like somebody go approach you, that kind.
I have an interesting story to share. Because in uni, I had this lecturer who's teaching me equities. So my uni was in Boon Lay, beyond Boon Lay. You kind of guess which one it is. And he stays in Pasir Ris. So our class was at 9 a.m. in the morning. So he told people, my vehicle is going to leave at 8:15 from White Sands.
Right.
If anybody want to hop on and don't be late, please
Fire.
please come. And I can hitch you on the right all the way to the west. So a few ladies say, hey, I stay in the east. I stay in Tampines, stay in Pasir Ris. So, so they went. So what I heard after that is they all become his FA, because this lecturer actually is an FA director. Of course, me being not staying all the way to the east, I I don't have that privilege to be chauffeured by him. So I didn't have the opportunity. But of course, after that, most of us got a call from someone in his agency and say, hey, do you know this person? He taught you this subject. Anyway, he is from this industry and he wants to invite you for a career opportunity talk and so on and so forth. So, but of course, at the point of time, I already decided to give the FA job a try. So I said, I already joined someone else. So yeah. So whatever you say in the uni, even in those days, it does happen amongst the students. Yep.
So were there any noise from like external people, friends and family and stuff before like you went into the job itself? Because recently, or I wouldn't say recently, like in the past decade, I would say, the caveat of being an FA is always forefronted when people are like, hey, you want to join this industry? And then once you tell your friends about it, you'll be like, are you sure or not? Hey, that time my FA, wow, tell me policy, then zao. Then they never tell you about the good side. And the only people who tell you about the good side are you go and scroll LinkedIn, you go and scroll Facebook, hey, look at my new car, my Rolex, my $1 million round table. And it feels like a very inside-outside group dynamic when it comes to the FA industry. Was it as prevalent back then?
Well, yeah, definitely the flaunt the car. I haven't heard about story flaunt the income tax.
Wow, really?
You know, yeah,
whole
of course,
new
of
flag.
course.
Yeah.
I mean, in all these years, when I talk to people who want to join the industry, I always ask them, what are the reasons that you want to consider this industry? So if people tells me, hey, you know what, I want to join a place that I can make the most money at the shortest period of time, and I don't need to be climbing up the corporate ladder to do so, I kind of know that maybe what I believe is not something that suits them, because there are a lot of my peers that do that, and I'm sure that they are successful, right? But this is not the type of people that I would think that fits to my value or what I want to do in the first place. So yes, it is then, and it's still there today.
Actually, like, what are the most common like reasons that you hear from people that they want to become FA? Is it like purely, like
I
they
call
want
it
to
under the good point, Shireen, the 3 I's. I always say that people are there here for 3 I's, combination of the 3. So what the I? I means the alphabet I. First I is income, of course. So what I heard is that, you know what, here the income is sky's the limit. You know, your own you decide number of hours. So the second I is independence. You decide when you want to work, who you want to work, who you want to approach, so on and so forth. So the second I, independence. And of course the last one is impact. So how do you want to help the people around you? So I think these are the general 3 I's that I see that people join. So so what you see that are so-called shown the loudest is probably the first I.
Right. So speaking of that, right, and usually when so this is the current state of last I was exposed to the industry, like first person wise, is that you would need to make sales target, and usually what the uni students would do will be like friends, they confirm need to buy insurance, and then naturally, right, that becomes a very, I cannibalize my social circle, and it makes or breaks certain FAs to continue in the industry. With regards to you, was that also your first step, or like how did that begin? Like, were you also like insurance?
Okay, so I think for me, I'm uniquely different because remember, I'm here for investments. So I think in my cohort, I'm one of those that I was one A away from first class honors. I mean, I can say it on camera today because I have a classmate that has one more A than me and he's first class honor. I'm only second upper. I'm like, So people say, okay, this Danny, I think he kind of know his stuff lah. So I think when I start talking to people, so I have a confession to make first, because at a point of time, I was kind of also in the camp of, insurance it's a very high tension, can be a friendship deal breaker, quote unquote, right? So if I tell people to do so, I think I may start risking my social circles. But that's how I felt then. So when I approach them for investments, and of course I try to do it in a very systematic way, but of course throughout the years I've even refined it even more today. Then it kind of had a better traction with my friends, and of course my character is also not a very confrontational type. I'm just someone who believes in a two-way kind of relationship. So I also didn't want to be too pushy, and I just tell people what I do, what I've done, what I've done for myself, what I've done for my clients in terms of investments. So that has been what my approach since the beginning. But of course, to carry on in confession, maybe we can even talk a bit more about that, is that I kind of start thinking about insurance a bit differently as I progress, as I pick up more skills, and as my clients also get more sophisticated in their life stages. So I think that would also shows how important holistic planning is in the first place.
Actually, like reaching out to your like friends, right? I don't know. I think it's always like there's a stigma that maybe, let's say your past uni friend you haven't met for like 2 years, then you suddenly like, oh, do you want to meet for coffee?
Yes.
Then it's like pull out iPad and like, oh yeah. Then do you have like a different approach to it?
Oh, one thing good about me, because I started right after uni, so I won't have the break of like, hey, I have not met you for years. So
Oh, just straight away, like after class 8, let's have coffee. Is that what? How does that work?
I mean, for investments or for people to invest, then I think I got to go 1 or 2 segments higher. Because I mean, I was in my early 20s then. So I think if I find equally poor students like me, how much can I even get them to start started, right? So I actually aim like in 30s and 40s, or even ask my parents or whoever for help, so that I can go to the auntie uncles. I think I have the face of being somebody's good son or someone like that. So I think I started a lot with people in their 40s and 50s, and start to build my practice around that age range instead. So my friends, I mean, they know what I do. Some will just say, hey, why you never approach me? I know you're doing this. I was like, so I get reverse inquiries.
Okay.
So I think that I won't say it's applicable for everybody. I'm not saying I'm better or not. It's just that I had the privilege and the fortune to have that as my journey. Yeah.
Right. So you have mentioned that you look like a good son. Here's the thing that I realized, right, in hindsight, that the things that the FA agency sponsors are pageants. Right.
Pageants.
Yeah, pageants. So
Oh.
we have pageants in hall where we pick like hall king, hall queen. It's all the pretty looking people, the outgoing people. I understand the target market. So now that you've mentioned it, do you think that the face card, like pretty looking, handsome looking ones, means got more chance? Or is the fact that like, oh yes, my business acumen and my planning is strong, which one do you think tend to work better in the industry?
That is a very philosophically but very good question. Well, okay. So maybe let me bring back 1 or 2 steps ahead. I think in terms of reaching out to new clients, there are a few ways to so-called prospect, acquire clients. One would be the approach of reaching out to your current network, what we call them warm markets. Of course, the referrals is the reverse inquiry I was talking about. But of course, there's a very big segment called the cold market, which means that you reach out to clients on the streets or on the road shows or people that barely know you. And of course, you have to get an impression on them as soon as possible. So to me, it's not only about looks, it's also about gender. Because I think in those days, which is still quite often nowadays, there are road shows. So road shows, I realized that my female colleagues, they do get clients to sit down or prospect to sit down at a roadshow booth, rather than us who look like security guards standing there. Yeah, simply because we are of the less preferred gender. I just have to say it that way. Because I mean, since I want to sit down and talk to somebody myself, I talk to someone that I feel happier to talk to. And yeah, so I guess that does help, right? I mean, face it, there are other industries that they also recruit people that are pleasant looking because they are on a high service orientation. For example, aviation industry. I shan't say the company, but that is also kind of subtly what it means to do so. So I think pageants seems like a very good idea for that. Disclaimer, I don't do that, right? Not because it's wrong, but just that it's not in my modus operandi. Yeah.
Actually, another thing that I was quite curious, you mentioned that men are like the less preferred gender, right? I always thought it was the other way around, especially in the previous generation, because like it's a less common thing that women in finance, that kind of thing. Or like, do you think this whole mindset changed over time?
I would say it's patriarchal kind of like, woman, the more the sweet the woman, the higher chance. I don't think so. But maybe it's I'm the good son face, not the hunk face. Or not a hunk, not even face, but hunk will be the body, right? I try to show some bulge here and there, but I think it can be mixed. I think it's the way you do so. I mean, I can also share earlier in my career, I do have some female colleagues that are actually harassed by trying to get the male prospect to kind of meet them. They will just say, you know what, I want to come to my house instead. Why don't we? Then my female colleague say, no, let's meet at the void deck downstairs. Yep. But he insisted that you want to close the case, you come up with me upstairs. So the type of harassment does happen. Of course, for guys to be invited upstairs, I don't think it happens. So I'm not very sure, but I do feel like it's also how you approach and what you say. Because take note, for Cole, you have to get the impression as soon as possible, because there's no trust, no credibility established at all. So how do you get in that 5 to 10 seconds the person's attention enough for them to stop their daily routine just to listen to you? Is it a power bank, or is it a lucky draw, or what can it be, right? So to me, that's why I feel like in my referral based business, I think the ROI is not high for me.
Right.
Yeah. So I always feel like I will be a losing advantage if I happen to do that. And I think in my team, we don't really do such activities to acquire clients.
So I have a follow-up question.
Okay.
Since now we have face card being not say a kingmaker in the industry, but a useful and very prominent tool. Now that social media is a thing that we have, which is not very prevalent last time, but now it is very big about imaging, about making sure that you are visible to the people, the way you present yourself is important. Has that overcome the face card?
Well, I think there's another layer of filter that you can create, because like what we mentioned just now, when you're good looking, you kind of put your best face forward, literally, right? But for social media, there's a chance for you to put your best moments of your life forward. So in a way, you can face card it in the way where I may not be the best looking, but look at my life, it's such a wonderful, fulfilling, impactful life and stuff like that. And people will go in there, and that's what influencers do. They will put their best side, they'll put filters, and they'll do everything and start marketing products and so on and so forth. I think this is the whole trend that's happening. So yes and no. I would say looks is now enhanced by what you want to put forth to the internet, to the social media space, that people can see what you want them to see. And that to me is quite common nowadays.